Monday at 11 on ABC 22 News. Right now, ABC 22 News begins with your forecast first.
Good evening. It's another gem of a day with gorgeous sunshine across the entire area. You almost need the magnifying glass just to find a few of those fair weather puffy clouds. And temperatures have responded accordingly. Near 80 degrees still in the Champlain Valley after reaching 81. Elsewhere it's in the 70s. Tonight, if you have Cinco de Mayo plans, fantastic weather, clear skies. Temperatures going from the 50s to the 40s by morning, but more sunshine and warmth ahead. We'll talk about it on ABC 22 News at 6:30, which starts right now.
A college craze heading to high schools. Why Ultimate Frisbee is gaining popularity across the nation. And a Thetford, Vermont woman with a new face and new lease on life. A community showing its support at Carmen Tarleton's book signing.
Your top local stories of the day, now on ABC 22 News.
And a difficult decision for a town struck by tragedy. A Newtown, Connecticut group must find a permanent school for the survivors of the Sandy Hook tragedy. More on that story coming up in just a moment. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on ABC 22 News. I'm Jeff Eliasoff. It has been an incredible journey for Vermonter Carmen Tarleton, who just received a face transplant after being doused by industrial strength lye back in 2007. ABC 22's David Hodges was in North Thetford today, where Carmen was signing copies of her new book. He joins us live in the studio tonight. David?
Jeff, it was an incredible atmosphere. The Thetford Historical Society hosted the book signing, and they were expecting about 30 people to show up. But it's clear that Tarleton's story and perseverance have spread to a much wider audience.
She's a woman who needs no introduction.
Line up and enjoy.
People waiting for a signed book from Carmen Tarleton clutched their copies tightly before opening their arms and hearts to her.
I always get so much support here.
Whether it's meeting her in person or reading about her journey in her book, Overcome, it's her courage and compassion that brought nearly 100 people to the North Thetford Church Sunday, not far from where Tarleton lived when she was attacked by her estranged husband.
It just makes it so much nicer to come out and say thank you to the community.
This line is filled with many people who know Carmen and some who don't, but all of them are inspired by her story.
What she's able to do is just incredible.
She's a wonderful person. I'm sure I couldn't have done it.
Tarleton received a full face transplant at Brigham and Women's Hospital in February. She's had more than 50 surgeries already, and there's still more to come. Achieving the impossible has become the routine in Carmen's life. She anticipates more events like this one in the near future.
Going around speaking and promoting my book and talking to people.
But before hitting the road, Tarleton has nothing less than the full support of the home crowd.
The community has always been so supportive of me. You know, it's just been great.
One more heartwarming note, I was told by Tarleton's stepfather that one of the community schools lists Tarleton's book, Overcome, as a summer reading choice. He says everyone picked to read it. Reporting live in the studio, David Hodges, ABC 22 News.
David, thank you. Last night, a New Hampshire man was killed in a motorcycle accident. It happened just before 11 along Stage Road in Unity, New Hampshire. Police say 49-year-old Paul Furland of Unity was traveling east when he failed to make a corner and went off the road. Furland died right there. In State House news tonight, 3D printers are hot technology right now, and one New York senator is taking aim at what can be done. This is U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer says one of the machines made a fully functional handgun last week, and because it's made out of plastic, it could slip through metal detectors. Schumer wants the gun making to be illegal.
Now anyone, a terrorist, someone who's mentally ill, a spousal abuser, a felon, can essentially open a gun factory in their garage. And the only thing they need, a computer and a little over $1,000. No background check. And you don't even have to leave your house to make hundreds of these guns.
Schumer and Representative Steve Israel are planning to introduce the Undetectable Firearms Modernization Act. A Queen City tradition strolled out of Battery Park this afternoon. The 24th annual Cots Walk took to the streets of Burlington to help the homeless. Over 800 people came out to support the Committee on Temporary Shelter, and every dollar raised goes directly toward aiding people who are homeless or in danger of becoming homeless. On a day-to-day basis, Cots aids between 75 to 85 people. Over half of those people belong to families. Organizers say the community really turns out for this event.
young kids, Vista workers, professionals, retirees, different religious congregations, because they share in the belief that no one in our community should be left to sleep on the street.
Markley also says it can take as little as $1,000 to keep a family from becoming homeless. COTS hopes to raise $175,000 with the walk. Well, Green Up Day may have been yesterday, but some people are still out looking for bottles and cans to recycle. VPIRG teamed up with the Burlington Boys and Girls Clubs and the Chittenden Humane Society to try to raise some money and recycle at the same time. The first big batch of bottles came from area bars and restaurants, quite a few, as you can see. The other purpose of the bottle drive was to try to push for a more expansive bottle bill, which would allow more bottles to be recycled for a 5-cent deposit.
We can have water bottles containers, like more beverage containers included in the deposit, so that they don't get thrown on the side of the road either, and so that more funds can be raised for awesome groups like this.
The bottle bill became law in 1972, and every year since, more and more bottles have been recycled. Now, Ultimate Frisbee already swept through colleges all around the country, and now high schools are getting into the act. As you can see, clubs from 8 schools came together in Essex to compete in the Champlainships tournament. Over 40 kids came from as far away as St. Johnsbury to take part in the 2-day event. Organizers say one of the reasons the sport has taken off is really all you need to get a game going is an open space and a Frisbee. Interest from kids of all ages is driving the sport forward, and the younger kids seem to really be going for it.
It's getting there. We have Vermont Commons has 7th and 8th graders playing today up against kids as old as 12th graders.
Wow. The tournament organizers say if there's enough interest, it will try to create a high school summer league. Interest is high since there's already a summer adult league. Well, filed under crime tonight, 3 men leapt to the rescue of a woman who was being robbed. It happened about 11:30 last night in the area of College and St. Paul Streets in Burlington. Police say a 21-year-old woman fought back when a man tried to steal her purse. The struggle got the attention of 3 other men in the area who chased down 22-year-old Christopher Jerome of Lincoln. The men were able to corner Jerome and hold him until police got there. Jerome is charged with assault and robbery. He didn't post bail. He is due back in court tomorrow. Making news around the Northeast tonight, controversy surrounding plans for New York's 9/11 memorial. The museum's board wants to charge admission when the site opens next year. The $20 to $25 fee would help with operating costs, which are anticipated to run about $60 million a year. But some victims' families say this museum should be free. It's been nearly 5 months since the Sandy Hook tragedy claimed 26 lives, and students of that elementary school are still being temporarily housed elsewhere. But they still need a new school, something permanent. So far, the task force entrusted with finding a place to build that school hasn't come up with a plan. ABC 22's Matt Campbell reports that Friday's meeting ended with few answers.
It was the 4th meeting for the Sandy Hook Elementary Building Task Force. It immediately went into an hour-long executive session, and when the public was allowed back in, this is what they heard.
We will not be making a decision tonight about a site.
That's because there are now more options for the new location of Sandy Hook Elementary. Consolidation into Reed Intermediate School was discussed. The pros, it would spare the cost of building a brand new school.
The combined federal and state funding would be more likely to be there to cover the entire cost than it would the entire cost of building a new school.
Cons, some say the renovations alone would be costly. Then Fairfield Hills, an old mental hospital, was put on the table. Benefits being location and space. Concerns here surround safety. Some say the solution is simple.
Whatever we build, it would be a new build and not a tear down of Cochrane and so forth, but a new location, a new build.
Many want to know why the initial 2 options for new buildings on Riverside Road have been put on the back burner. Teachers spoke out, and members report for some, the location is just too close to the scene of the crime.
Anything that we do there is going to be a reminder of what happened, and I really want that to be understood.
That report, of course, from Newtown, Connecticut. A long legal battle between Philadelphia, Pennsylvania and the Boy Scouts of America group is now over with a hefty payout. It started when the city kicked the organization out of a city-owned building because of the group's ban on gays. The local Boy Scouts chapter had been headquartered in that building for 85 years, but after a long legal battle, both sides settled.
We settle cases every single day, so for us to settle a case when the city is, quote, cash-strapped is not inherently an unusual thing.
The funds will be used to support scouting in the city and help us move to another location.
The Boy Scouts will vacate the building by the end of June, and the city will pay them $825,000. Virtual money coming to a wallet very near you. We'll explain the new currency known as Bitcoin. And is there a hidden danger in the antibacterial products that you're using right now?
ABC 22 News is your voice at 6:30.
Coming up Monday morning before Good Morning America, a local brewery's major expansion in the past year. We'll take you to the Switchback operation to see what makes them different from the rest. ABC 22 This Morning, your voice at 5.
Throughout the years, in good times and bad, our families have turned to TV for news, emergency information, and entertainment. Now, some legislators in Montpelier want to force a new and unfair tax on nearly 100,000 Vermonters, hurting our families when we're already struggling. You can do something about it. Call your legislator and tell them to stop this unfair tax on television. Call 1-877-781-3604.
Time is running out on Xfinity's fastest 4 weeks. Speaking of fast, you've got less than 2 weeks left to get a limited time offer on the fastest in-home Wi-Fi and Xfinity TV. How about this Wi-Fi, huh?
Incredibly fast.
It even works in the attic. It even works in the attic.
Get the Xfinity Double Play from Comcast for $89.99 a month for 12 months with no term contract. Plus, you can get our fastest wireless gateway and a self-install kit.
Less than 2 weeks left. Better get moving.
Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Monday at 11 on ABC 22 News. Vermont lawmakers are taking steps to limit access to meth-making ingredients. ABC 22 News investigates potential legislation that would track purchases to key ingredients. Tracking Sudafed, Monday at 11.
Focusing on the economy this Sunday night, a virtual currency called Bitcoin is gaining popularity online, and soon an ATM could be available to Bitcoin users. Let's explain this. ABC 22's Christian De La Rosa with more.
Coins are digital coins you can send through the internet.
Bitcoin could most easily be described as the digital equivalent of cash.
It's an online currency you can use to shop online at a growing number of websites.
There's a lot of eateries, a lot of cafes.
You can even buy pizza with it. Thursday, it traded at $100 per Bitcoin in the stock market. You can buy Bitcoins online, but there's no bank involved, no third party. Everything is peer-to-peer.
Anybody from any walk of life and any age can buy Bitcoins and hold them as a play on the technology market.
Now, the world's first ever Bitcoin ATM could soon start operating in San Diego.
So you press here.
By scanning a QR code, the ATM recognizes your account. You can then buy Bitcoins or cash them out. But while popularity around the online currency continues to grow,
you are your own bank.
Many are also asking questions like, who invented it? And since there's no bank, who do you go to if you have an issue with your account?
Nobody really knows.
Bitcoin accounts are also known to be vulnerable to internet hackers.
Bitcoin can be as secure or as insecure as you want it to be. Primarily, if you hold all of your coins on your computer and you don't back up your wallet, that's a pretty risky venture right there.
Christian De La Rosa reporting. In your health headlines tonight, within a year, the FDA says it will review the safety and effectiveness of a common active ingredient in antibacterial products. Triclosan has been used in products like antibacterial soap for more than 40 years. The FDA says the chemical is not currently known to be a hazard to human health, but the agency says animal studies have shown the ingredient changes hormone regulation. There's also the chance the ingredient helps make bacteria resistant to antibiotics. It barks and it walks on 4 prosthetic limbs. ABC 22's Kim Christensen introduces us to a real-life bionic dog.
Good job, nice balance.
Rewards always work, whether you're teaching a dog a new trick or one he's long forgotten. 2-year-old Nikio is learning to be a dog again, one step at a time.
Good boy. He can't feel the ground at all, any of his 4 limbs, which is different than most of my patients who have only 1 or 2 prosthetics. So his contact to the earth is entirely mechanical.
Nikio's story goes back a couple of years with vet tech Christy Pace.
Well, I got him, he was about 8 weeks, and he was 4 pounds. He was missing patches of fur everywhere because he had mange.
Rescued from a home that had been foreclosed on in Nebraska, Nikio had lost all 4 of his paws to frostbite. Christy fell in love.
As he started getting older and he started getting bigger and heavier, then I started seeing changes in his bones and he started limping and going three-legged. And so at that point, that's when I knew I really had to do something.
That something took her to OrthoPets in Denver, the world's first company that makes prosthetic limbs just for animals. Even veterinarian Dr. Patsy Misch had never seen a dog like Nikio.
So the challenge was to create the world's first dog with 4 prosthetic limbs.
Christy has now made it her mission to rescue other disabled dogs. Nikio is her spokesdog.
What I've learned personally and as a doctor is courage. Absolutely courage. My patients, my disabled patients, teach me every day that you just take the next step, literally. Take the next step boldly.
Love has no boundaries is what I always say, and I'm happy to help any animal with any kind of disability and show the world how capable they are. Now, I mean, I don't think he realizes he's different at all.
Some places hit 80 degrees today. I'll show you where and who may hit it again tomorrow, coming up in weather.
ABC 22 News is your voice at 6:30.
Why don't others offer zero-turn riders with steering wheel control and four-wheel steering? Who else puts electronic power steering in lawn and garden tractors? How many others deliver the beautiful Cub Cadet Signature Cut? Prove to yourself what makes Cub Cadet the smartest choice. Take a test drive at your local dealer. There's no better time to get a Cub Cadet, thanks to $100 off select models. Visit your local Burlington and North Country Cub Cadet dealers today.
One click on buyatoyota.com and you can find the biggest selection of Toyota inventory. And then see every Toyota special offer there is, even those not seen on TV. Buyatoyota.com, Toyota's official website for deals.
Every hour, someone in this country is diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. They need your help to find a cure. Support one of these Walk MS locations on Saturday, May 11th in Montpelier, Rutland, and the Upper Valley. Be a part of the cure. Help raise awareness and money to continue funding research to find a cure for multiple sclerosis. Your support will help find a cure. Register today and join the walk nearest you. For more information, call 1-800-FIGHT-MS or go to walkmsgne.org. Brought to you by ABC 22 and Fox 44. ABC 22 News is always on your computer, on your tablet, on your mobile device, and on your television. ABC 22 News, always on when you need it most. Nexstar Broadcasting in Vermont is looking for experienced, enthusiastic, self-starting people to help take Fox 44 and ABC 22 News to the next level. We have career opportunities for a morning anchor reporter, video journalist, producer, video journalist, sports director, creative services director, and e-media manager. Come be a part of one of the nation's top 20 broadcasting companies. If you thrive in a fast-paced environment and have the ability to work under deadlines, send us your resume or go to fox44now.com for more information. Now, your Sky Tracker forecast with meteorologist Michael Page.
What a beauty today. Many of you taking to Facebook to share your high temperatures with me. 82 in Montreal today, as well as Malone. And then many places here in Vermont also reaching 80 to 81, including Essex Junction, places like Burlington. I think many of these locations will have very similar temperatures coming up for not only tomorrow, but also for Tuesday. So a little preview of what's to come. And look at this warmth that's just encircling most of our area. Still 79 now from Burlington to Montreal. And we are the focus of the warmth, the envy of most of the country, in fact, because cooler temperatures exist down to our south, courtesy of this Omega block in the atmosphere that's just keeping the pattern very similar. We're on the warm side of it, as this jet stream sort of takes a configuration looking like the Greek letter Omega. So we are on the favorable side, while the rest of the country, for the most part, stays very chilly and occasionally wet as well. This thing won't break down until at least Wednesday. That's why we still have more sunshine to deal with as high pressure remains in control. Notice the clouds and the showers, though, down to the south. This is why the Derby was wet yesterday, and it's a little damp down in Talladega as well. So the wet weather staying on the other side of that block while we enjoy our warmth and sunshine tonight. We stay clear. Temperatures around 50 degrees in the Champlain Valley. Coldest spots, though, upper 30s. Most people kind of land in between, very similar to last night, in the 40s as we go through the overnight hours. But for tomorrow, Look at this, almost a repeat of today. Low to mid 70s all the way to the lower 80s. That's sort of the range. You get the idea. Another day of high UV index, so if you're going to be outside, make sure you apply the sunscreen because the sun is strong as we now go through May. Look at the ranges town by town. Upper 70s for places like St. Jay over towards Burlington. And remember, a couple places in between the official observing sites will likely hit 80 degrees. We'll also reach the middle 70s down in southern Vermont as well. With more sunshine and a light southwesterly wind, you really just can't ask for better weather. But let's fast forward a little bit to Wednesday. We start off Wednesday with sunshine, of course, but by the afternoon, we actually have some clouds showing up on Future Tracker. I think this is just the beginning of a cloudier pattern for the end of the week. Maybe a spot shower as early as Wednesday night in southern Vermont. Most places stay dry, though. You will see on the 7-day forecast, we have those clouds increasing on Wednesday with, of course, warmth and sunshine to that point. But notice temperatures start to relax a little bit, go down to the lower 70s, upper 60s. And then we have a mix of sun and clouds Thursday and Friday, along with a couple of scattered showers. More in the way of clouds and probably a better chance of more substantial rainfall for the weekend. So it looks like finally, Jeff, we're going to get back to some much needed rainfall by the end of the week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the warm weather's great, but we need the other stuff too.
Yeah, everything's terrific, but the rainfall is kind of the practical matter, and we'll get to that later on in the week.
Terrific. I'll have sports for you after these words.
ABC 22 News is your voice at 6:30.
Life, it's all about changes, transitions, new beginnings. Still, it's good to know some things never change, like the dependability of your Camry. Because 90% of all Camrys sold in New England since 1990 are still on the road. Come see why the 2013 Camry is the best Camry ever. Or ask someone you know who drives one.
All right, let's go. Yeah, shimmy, shimmy, chocolate. We chocolate crossover. Yeah, we chocolate crossover. Introducing Fiber One 80-calorie chocolate cereal.
Presenting the annual Vermont Walk to Cure Diabetes, 10 a.m. Sunday, May 19th at CBU, with registration at 9 a.m. The Vermont Walk to Cure Diabetes. Pre-register today. Call toll-free or go to walk.jdrf.org. Every hour, someone in this country is diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. They need your help to find a cure. Support one of these Walk MS locations on Saturday, May 11th in Montpelier, Rutland, and the Upper Valley. Be a part of the cure. Help raise awareness and money to continue funding research to find a cure for multiple sclerosis. Your support will help find a cure. Register today and join the walk nearest you. For more information, call 1-800-FIGHT-MS or go to walkmsgne.org. Brought to you by ABC 22 and Fox 44.
Sports for you on a Sunday night. Red Sox taking on the Texas Rangers today, hoping to avoid being swept for the first time the entire season. John Lester and Yu Darvish took to the hill in what looked to be a pitcher's duel, but the home run ball was powering both teams. Red Sox and the Rangers hit a solo homer and a two-run homer each. The Sox homers came courtesy of David Ortiz with a two-run shot, David Ross with the solo homer, but this game belonged to the Rangers in the end. They actually won it in the ninth inning by the score of 4-3. Yanks and Athletics vying for the series win, rubber match of their series. Top of the fifth, Oakland with the lead. Yoenis Cespedes with the two-run shot to put the A's up by 3. Bottom of the sixth, Yankees first baseman Lyle Overbay with this two-run single to center. That ties the game up at 4. Pinstripes seem happy. Top of the eighth, still tied, but not for long. That's Josh Donaldson with a solo shot for the 5-4 lead. Bottom of the ninth, 2 on, 2 outs. Vernon Wells strikes out to end the game. Athletics go on to win it by the count of 5-4. Mets in Atlanta looking for another win against the Braves. Justin Upton doing his best to prevent that with the RBI single to right to give the Braves the early lead. Next batter up is going to be Freddie Freeman, and he is going to double to left, knocks in 2 more runs. 3-0 Braves in the third. Boy, the guys in blue look confused there. Bottom of the fifth now, Reed Johnson up, bases loaded for the Braves, knocks in another pair of runs to give them a 7-2 lead. This is a mess for the Mets. The Braves continue the onslaught in the next inning. Freeman with a solo homer to left. This will give the Braves an 8-2 lead. Atlanta goes on to win this one 9-4. All right, let's get some squared off for Game 3 of their series today. They split the first two games, and the Penguins were looking at that home ice advantage back in their favor by grabbing this one in New York. Let's go to the third period. Islanders trailing 4-2. Franz Nielsen gets the puck ahead to Kyle Okposo, who beats Marc-Andre Fleury for the shorthanded goal, cuts the lead to 1. A little later in the third, John Tavares snaps the wrister. That beats Fleury and ties the game at 4. That score held until we go to overtime, and the Pens are always trouble here, and that is Sidney Crosby finding Chris Kunitz in front of the net, and he is able to list it by Evgeny Nabokov for the game-winning goal. Pens win it 5-4. They do take that 2-1 series lead. Game 4 Tuesday night, also at the Nassau Coliseum. By the way, the Isles still looking for their first home playoff win in 11 years. Not far away. Let's go to Madison Square Garden in New York, where a storied rivalry resumed today. Indiana and New York tangling many times in the 90s. Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller taking center stage back then. It's been 13 years since the Knicks actually made it to the second round, and now they've got Indiana again. Game 1 of this series went to the Pacers as they beat the Knicks really pretty convincingly throughout this game, 102-95. Michael has a look at your forecast after these words.
ABC 22 News is your voice at 6:30.
Hey, did you know Honey Nut Cheerios has oats that can help lower cholesterol? And it tastes good? Sure does. Wow. Delicious, right? Yeah. It's the honey. It makes it taste so... Well, would you look at the time? What's the rush? Be happy, be healthy.
Try new Honey Nut Cheerios Medley Crunch with clusters, flakes, and O's.
Oh, it's the honey sweetness I mean, you love.
Everybody's talking.
There's so much to talk about.
About The View. Because the women of The View are into hot topics.
Men like to control women. Don't bring up my marriages. I'm afraid my wig don't fall off.
Opinions about everything.
There is no sane gun policy in this country. No, does anybody ever really tell the truth?
And everything's up for debate.
We're going to talk about sex. It's going to be hard to top that.
Do you think he's a virgin?
Wow!
Oh, they're going there.
That's what we do.
The View, weekdays on ABC.
We'll reveal the victim. Only you will know the killer. But the best part is watching these cops
Detectives Flynn in Vegas.
figure it all out. Every week, a new murder
Nothing says Friday night like a homicide.
and a new motive.
Let's focus on why.
From an executive producer of Dexter and The Mentalist.
Why are you so fresh at 4 a.m.?
Because I know how to apply eyeliner and drive at the same time.
Motive. Series premiere Thursday, May 23rd on ABC.
I'm Jenny Day. Did you know that Vermonters have a higher skin cancer rate than most of the country? I'm part of that statistic. I've had surgery to remove melanoma, and that's why Fox 44 and ABC 22 have teamed up with the American Cancer Society to help you learn how to protect your skin. Limit your sun exposure. Don't use tanning beds. Wear 30 SPF sunscreen or higher year-round, and have your doctor check your skin once a year. Early detection can save lives. It has mine. Please visit cancer.org to learn more.
ABC 22 News is your voice at 6:30.
All right, quick check of our weather.
Well, we have more of the same coming up for the next couple of days. Sunshine and warmth through Wednesday. Chance of showers returns starting Thursday right into next weekend.
Michael, thank you. And thank you so much for watching ABC 22 News tonight at 6:30. I'm Jeff Eliasoff. Michael and I will be along again with you at 11 o'clock. Hope to see you then. Until then, good night, everyone.
This is ABC 22's Community Calendar. This has been ABC 22's Community Calendar. Monday at 11 on ABC 22 News. Vermont lawmakers are taking steps to limit access to meth-making ingredients. But will it work? One expert says no.
The system itself is completely ineffective at preventing meth labs.
ABC 22 News investigates potential legislation that would track purchases to key ingredients. But will this limit meth production in our region? Or are lawmakers doing too little to fight the real problem? Tracking Sudafed, Monday at 11 on ABC 22 News. This is WBNY, Channel 22, Burlington, Vermont.